After Hassan secured the initial oxygen source in the teleported planet, I was able to extend the oxygen zone with dry walls and build some basic outhouses or barracks. For food issue, there are plenty of excellent fruit in this planet. Excellent fruit provides 6,400 calories per fruit, which is much more than the makrus in my home planet. So I don't really need to worry about food if I'm not staying for long. Whenever he has to work in somewhere remote, he actually spends a lot of time running back and forth to gasp for air. It seems I'm wasting time, but I'm not really worried. Why? Because the primary goal for coming into the teleported planet is to get enriched uranium. Enriched uranium are produced by betas. Betas will collect the uranium ore nearby and refine them into enriched uranium inside the beta hives, which I could collect them later. Their refined rate is about 900 grams per cycle. I plan to get about 100 kilograms of enriched uranium for research and using a reactor. So that would take me about 12 cycles of waiting to collect enough uranium anyway. I could finish the collection faster if I also collect from other beta hives down there. But I'm fine with spending 10 cycles here. I'm not really going to come back to this planet later on. The secondary goal is to build a new mini-pod here. Since the Great Escape requires 5 pods to be built, and normally, one pod can only be built on one planet, now I just need to land on 3 more planets to build the mini-pod. One concern we might have when collecting uranium from the beta hives is that betas are aggressive critters. They are supposed to actively sting the dupes that come near. I said supposed because in practice, betas often just ignore the dupes. This is kind of due to some lag and beta pathing calculation issue, so they usually forget to sting the dupes. It's most likely the beta will sting when we have just loaded a save game, or when it's pretty early in game. The betas actually did sting me in this collection. I suspect because due to 100% space exposure, there are way too many vacuum tiles than usual, so the lag was also much less. The game was smoother, and so the betas remembered to sting the dupe. After building the pod, I also collected enough enriched uranium and sent it back to home planet. And that was pretty much done here. Hassan would teleport back and join the home planet crew from now on. So, how did I decide how much uranium I need? It really depends on how I want to execute the ultimate goal, the Great Escape. In my opinion, one of the 2 best ways to do it is using enriched uranium, a manual red bolt generator, but this time I decided to use the second way, a reactor. With my plan, it actually really needs a little amount of uranium to run the reactor. Now I want to talk a little bit about the layout and the different ways to do radiation research. It is very important to design a layout so the trajectory of produced red bolts will not overlap with the possible routes of the dupe. For example, this design is bad because the ray bolts could collide with the tubes in this tile. That would waste power, time, and materials needed to produce the ray bolt, and even damage or kill your tubes. Now, this is the design I actually used. The red bolt may travel in tiles that the tube cannot access, so it is unlikely accidents will happen. But to research the reactor, it needs quite a lot of radiation research, so that would require more uranium to do so. These are all the technologies I need to research to get the reactor. And they require a total of 1000 radiation research points. My plan is to use manual red bolt generator with enriched uranium for radiation research, and that will require a bit more than 40 kilograms of enriched uranium to do so. Considering I might need a bit more to research some side technologies, accounting for the red bolt decay losses, and that I will need about 25 kilograms for a reactor. That's how I came up with the decision that 100 kilograms of enriched uranium is enough. On the topic of radiation research efficiency, I have listed a few common ways to generate red bolts for early radiation research. There are even more efficient ways, such as using a red bolt engine or reactor, but those require a lot of radiation research themselves, so I would not include them in the discussion. Using red bolt generator with radiation lamp or wards are probably the most common ways. Red bolt generators require power, or to be precise, stable power, because the red bolt production will decay rapidly if their power supply is down. Depending on your setup, you could generate about 150 to 300 red bolts per cycle with this tool. On the other hand, using manual red bolt generator with enriched uranium has the best efficiency, while using manual red bolt generator with uranium ore has the worst efficiency. One operation with 1 kilogram of enriched uranium generates 25 red bolts, while 1 kilogram of uranium ore only generates 5 red bolts. That's a 500% difference, and that's what makes one of them being the best and other being the worst method. Using enriched uranium with a zero machining dupe will generate 375 red bolts per cycle, while uranium ore only generates 75 per cycle. Using uranium ore in manual red bolt generator are only advised when you are first learning how to generate red bolts, as they do not require an explicit stable power supply to operate and are less likely to fail. However, they are not only inefficient in terms of uranium to red bolts, but also in terms of time. Tubes will spend an extraordinary amount of time operating, and those time would have been spent in running on a hamster wheel to generate power instead. So implicitly, they're actually also a waste of power. Out of the other three beta ways, enriched uranium requires beta to refine for you, and words requires finding their seed, and they are not always immediately available on every plane start. So I would say just pick the one that is the most convenient for you. My base is actually getting quite hot because I'm collecting the water from the cool steam vent on the right. For base cooling, the regular way is to do an aqua tuner steam turbine combo, or abbreviated as ATST. I do have the materials to make steel and plastic in this planet, but because this challenge will end before cycle 100, I decided to use an interesting temporary cooling build instead, and this is how they look. It also has an aqua tuner, but it's not made from steel, just copper ore, and there is no steam turbine. So how is the heat removed from the aqua tuner room? I'm building a steam engine, or steam rocket. Steam produced for the room will be used as fuel for the rocket, and the steam room is controlled below 120 degrees because the steam rocket can accept any temperature of steam as fuel. That's why the regular copper ore can be used as the aqua tuner material in this build. And when the water level is too low, or when steam is too hot, new water can be added into the room to allow more operation without overheating. This way, I'm both cooling my base and also providing fuel for the steam rocket. In a regular colony, you could actually run this build even without the rocket. Just filling a lot of water initially, and the room would have a very large heat capacity to run before things start to overheat. This could buy you a lot of time and allows you to survive while trying to get the steel and plastic needed for the permanent build ATST combo. With the radiation research and base cooling settled, I'm ready to launch a rocket to go find the temperature opener. See you next episode.